Hello there guys, welcome back to Retro Anime Realm, where today we shall be continuing with the great Gundam UC Rewatch with episodes 27 to 31 of Mobile Suit Gundam Double Zeta. Now, so much happened in episodes 27 and 28, the Lena's Blood two-parter. Like, where do we even start with that? I mean, these episodes are just so good. I think these are probably the best episodes we've had in Gundam Double Zeta so far. Having watched the series previously, I was kind of waiting for these episodes to arrive, because it's where things really do start to get serious at this point. I think one thing you have to talk about is Judo and his massive release of new type power after what happens to Lena. I mean, I think this is like the main reason why people say that Judo is the most powerful new type out of like the main protagonists from Gundam, and it's hard to argue with that. I'll get into it more when we finish Gundam Double Zeta, but there's evidence to suggest that that is entirely the case. I'll explain more about that once we're finished with the series. But Judo seemed to release an almighty amount of new type power when Haman Khan accidentally shot Lena, and Haman ended up running off scared, and she's like a really powerful new type herself. I think out of the new types I've seen so far, Judo's definitely up there. I think he's arguably the most powerful new type at the moment, possibly with Shiroko that we've seen so far. I think like a tier below that we have like Haman Khan and Camille probably also. And I'd put like Amuro probably a rung below that, and then below him like Char Aznable, who's like comparatively quite a weak new type. But there we go. It's surprising to see her react like that. It shows how strong like Judo Ashita's new type powers are, which is quite something. It's kind of explainable in a way because he's from Side 1, which is kind of like the oldest bunch of space colonies up there, so it kind of makes sense. I guess perhaps people on those colonies had more time to develop their new type prowess, as it were. So yeah, that's really interesting and really cool what happens there. And remember, all this basically comes about because Haman Khan has basically taken over the Federation headquarters, hasn't she, at this point? It seems like a lot of the Federation people are willing to go along with her for some reason, to kind of, probably to save their own skin, I would imagine, knowing how the Federation are. And she realises this, and she says that to Judo, doesn't she? That, yeah, like the Federation don't deserve ownership of the Earth and all that stuff. Which she's kind of right about, to be quite honest. Like the Federation have shown throughout Gundam that they don't really know what they're doing. They're kind of an incompetent bunch, that's for sure. And they don't really put the space noids first, that's for sure. They don't really take too much care of the Earth or the space noid population, it seems. So that's what we have there. So we get kind of a strong idea of what Haman's reasoning is for doing all of this. And yeah, I kind of agree to a certain extent that the Federation have kind of misused the Earth for a long time, but we know from Zeon that they're not too good either, are they, really? So yeah. And anyway, so we get that happen, and we get like this really big kind of battle, don't we, take place over Dakar. The Zeon are fighting against basically the Ayug and Karaba. Like we see like the Argama turn up again and rejoin the Gundam team. We have like that big battle go down. Judo and Lena end up crashing, don't they, on that island, and then at the end of it seems that Lena's been killed after that mobile suit just lands on like the little hut she was resting in. So yeah, Judo has really went through a lot of sorrow at that point indeed. And that's totally understandable. Rue didn't really act compassionately at all, I don't think, in that situation, unfortunately. She's been a very cool and excellent character up until now, and a character, you know, like the audience really likes, but I think this is a point where you don't really agree with what she's doing or her opinions on this matter too much, because, yeah, Lena was kind of like the reason why Judo was fighting to like recover his sister, and now she's dead, so, and he's in like a great deal of sorrow. Like, she was like the only family he regularly saw, it seemed, or cared so much about. But Rue just wants him to go back fighting as if nothing happened at all, which is kind of a little bit heartless, really, in that situation. So kind of we see that go down, and there's like an argument, isn't there, between her and Beecher and Mondo and some of the rest also, and she ends up kind of running away from the group. So yeah, kind of all that happens basically. LPO Peru basically kind of tries to become like Judo's new sister, kind of like I was saying in my previous video. You can see, I like how it's dealt with that, because you can see that it kind of bothers Judo that she's trying to take Lena's place, but you can see at the same time he also appreciates Blue being there also, so you can kind of see him kind of like the attention of her, but also kind of be annoyed by it also, because, you know, he's just come off the back of losing his real sister. And again, we kind of see that they have kind of like a really strong like new type link between the two of them. And we see over these episodes as well, like after the Dakar bit, and they go like have some more adventures in Africa, that we see more of like Blue's new type power and like how strong she is also, and she can kind of like detect other new types in the vicinity very easily, it seems. Which is something very, very interesting about her. When it comes to Lemmy Toto, we end up with him, don't we, after the car, and what happens there, he eventually ends up becoming kind of stranded in the desert. We see that Lemmy basically wants Zeon to be under the kind of rule that the Zabi family had. And he kind of wants to reinstate that kind of rule again. It seems like he takes issue with what Haman Khan is doing. We don't quite know to what extent at this moment. It's kind of, we've got a lot more hints now though what his motives are, thanks to these last couple of episodes. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail about these last couple of episodes. I think again these last two were kind of like filler episodes in a way. Like I said before, they're not actual filler episodes, because Gundam wasn't based on the manga, but yeah, they're kind of like filler for the plot, if it were. And again, there isn't too much to talk about with these. I think they were rather good. They were good to watch, but again, they didn't really progress the story that much. One thing I will say is like that artist guy in the last two episodes really, really did look like Char. Like so much. It's like the resemblance is uncanny. He looks even more like Char than Lemmy does. It's like, wow, that's such a resemblance. And it's really odd that there's like an underground city to that place. I felt that was kind of rather cool. But yeah, I felt these last couple of episodes are kind of fillerish. The Lena's Blood episodes are basically probably the highlight of the series so far, and just really, really good. So enjoyable to watch and see that part of the story kind of go down again. It's one point I definitely remember so much from the first time around of watching Gundam Double Zeta. So yeah, soon enough I'll have the next part up here for you of the Great Gundam UC Rewatch. I will give you a quick heads up, there probably won't be any videos next week, or maybe the week after. That's because I shall be going away for a little while. But when I come back, I'll have lots more videos up here again for you. So yeah, see you soon. Put your thoughts and comments down below of what you thought about these episodes.